Welcome, amazing agents from across the country. Today is July 27th, 2017, and this is Mastermind call number 136. Incredible turnout. I'm not going to call it a record yet, but I have a feeling it might be by the time we're done. And as I said, more the better. Hit *6 and hit 1 if you'd like to participate. We've got 5 people in there already. Since we have so many people in the queue, let's make it quick, guys. Let's go around the horn. Tim, anything you want to share with the group?
Not a thing, bud. Just go ahead and get to the people. I don't need to say anything today.
Chad, anything from you?
Yeah, a couple of things. We are going to be adding a few new letters to the Mailbox Motivator site in your subscriber portal. I've worked with lots and lots of you guys, and not every mailing campaign works in every market. So I've learned why some of the mailing campaigns aren't working, and worked one-on-one with folks. And each of the 3 letters we're uploading are quite a bit different than what's already there, and quite a bit different than the others. Each of the 3 are different than the others. So when you get a chance, look in there. They should be up by the end of business on Friday. We should have those up. If you're finding you're in a super competitive market and what you're doing just isn't getting attention, they're a little more disruptive. They're a little more broad. So it's not necessarily just about real estate. It's more about kind of being a transitional expert. And one comes from kind of a social enterprise or provide value first kind of business model mindset. Another is a little different version of the options letter. And one is based strictly on home values, and it's more of a farming letter, so you're actually sending it directly to the deceased. So it looks like you're targeting a list of homes that haven't sold in X amount of time because the market is so strong where you are, and we found that to be effective not only in probate but in other lead types we've tested too. So take a look at those if you feel like if you feel like your direct mail campaign could use a different approach. Take a look at those and see if they're good fits for you. And the idea of those guys is it's more for inspiration. You need to get your own, business culture and personality into those letters and make it match you. Don't be afraid to edit and change, something that doesn't make you feel comfortable. The other thing I wanted to announce, next Thursday, is the first Mastermind call of August. We're going to try a different format. So we're actually it's going to be a bit of an interview format for the first half of the call. We've invited Julie Hall, who is the director of the American Society of Estate Liquidators. And Julie is kind of the authority in the estate sales space in the country. Think of her organization as we think of the NAR for realtors. She's the trade association for estate sale companies and kind of holds those ethical standards. So I think we can learn a lot from her and find ways that we as real estate professionals can provide value, and they can learn to work better with us. So she's going to be our guest on next Thursday. So we'll try to do those as a series. What we'll probably do is the first Mastermind call of each month. We'll have somebody that's relevant to what we're teaching you guys, and someone that can help kind of give you a look behind the curtain in their industry. So if you be sure and check in next Thursday for that. And that's all I've got today.
And I think, Chad, we also said that we would consider some of our more successful agents down the road, interviewing them on the call. If there's one thing, we have some incredible participation. We've got some incredible success stories on this call. If there's one complaint, the only complaint I think we ever get is that there are a lot of new people, and we get asked the same questions over and over again. But this is your call, so we're not going to ever tell you, hey, we answered that last week. If you have a question, we're going to deal with it. And there's a lot of other new people on the call also. But we thought by combining the two, and also, that giving you a taste of opportunities out there, for you people that are more advanced, more experienced, and even the newbies, just to give you an expert and give you a really good source of getting your business off to a strong start or growing it that much faster. And we're going to do that the first Thursday of every month. So, Chad, before we move on, I always get asked, when's the next Mastermind, the next Mastery class? Do you have that planned yet or not?
I haven't sent out the announcement, but it'll be the third week of August.
Okay, excellent. And Tom, I know, Tim, you have one more thing to add. Tom, anything you want to share?
Just remind everybody we're here to help, and if you got any questions, please send us an email at support@alltheleads.com or just give us a call. That's
excellent. Tim, you had another comment?
Yeah, just two real quick things. Chad had mentioned about 3 new letters and all that, and we've gotten some questions, and I think, Chad, you mentioned that you'd seen some people ask some questions on Facebook about brochures and other things like that, and just be aware that while the things that we put online to make your life easy for Mailbox Motivator, the letters and all of that, we print just about anything that anybody needs to go do. So we do farming letters, we've done yellow letters for investors, we do lots of postcards, brochures, anything like that, and we will slowly add those to the front end. But if you have a requirement or you're doing mailings now or you want postcards or trifolds or flyers for your open houses or anything like that, just let us know. Send something to the support. We'll call you. We'll work through it with you. The other thing I was going to say is that Chad also mentioned about editing your letters. We often get a question from, customers who say, can I change this or can I change that? And the reality is you can change anything that you want. These letters are there as a guide. We do a good job of trying to put them out there so that you have a good feeling for a place you may want to go with it. But if you need to change it, edit it, make it more germane to your local market, we can do that. We'll do any kind of changes that you want. We'll help you. You can do it yourself, but we're here to serve you. So any of your printing needs that you have, we'll be glad to help you with them. That's it.
Excellent. All right, perfect. We have 5 people in the queue. I recognize the first name. He's been with us for about 24 hours, so I'm sure he has a success story already. Darren, you're up. Phone number ending in 1364. Darren, can you hear us? Darren, are you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Okay, yes, sir. We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Well, I just, first of all, I'm excited to be here and be a part of this. I've been doing some investing in real estate and, trying to do some wholesaling. My girlfriend's reinstating her license, so I'm going to have an avenue for doing. If somebody doesn't want to just sell, they want to list, we can do that as well. But question I do have, and I've gone through all the videos and things, and going through the rest of the things on the website. How do you guys do? A lot of you, or is there a kind of a template for going and talking to the attorneys? And it may be on the site, and I haven't seen it, but I've read through some of the other, when I was, kind of looking for something more information about probate before I found you guys, a lot of people were saying, you should hit up the attorneys and how does that work, that piece?
So I think the best resource for you would be if you're in the subscriber portal, on the left you'll see tips from the trainer. And back in May, I did a how to prospect probate attorneys for more deals. And I think it was 10 or 11 minutes of ideas. But I'll leave you if you can go watch that after the call. But the idea is to try to make contact and help them understand how different you are than other realtors they've dealt with in the past. The perception among attorneys seems to be that, realtors don't know what the hell they're doing, so they don't want to attach their name to anything. They don't really send direct referrals. But the reality is what we found in markets all over the country, if you're a professional and you've got a well-crafted offer that you're proud of and you go in to present that to them and show them how that can make their life easier, to get, that the family's best interest is your first interest and that you can clear files from their desk quicker, they latch on to you. And that we've got a few people, Roger Lisi's always on these calls. I mean, he's built a relationship with a probate attorney that has landed him in the courtroom as a real estate expert, that has landed him divorce listings. He's gotten, probate listings. And we had a gentleman on the call last week. He took action, massive action the first week. He laid out 11 addresses, and he got 3 attorney relationships in one afternoon of driving. So you really just need to focus on, what's in it for me, right? That's what everybody wants to know. So show the attorney how your business can complement theirs and make their life a lot easier. And typically, selling the real estate is necessary because 80% of wealth is typically held in real estate. And so take away the redundancy in their responsibility by answering those questions for them, consulting with the family about the real estate instead of him or her having to do it. So the more you can learn about what the attorney's frustrations are, the better you'll become at prospecting them, because you'll know what to say to the next one. So once you start the conversation with the first one, find out, what's the most challenging thing in working with these families? What's the most redundant task that you do? And as you learn those things, you'll be able to present that as before you won't have to ask that question to the next guy, because you can say, listen, we understand you're going through X, Y, and Z, and here's how our business can help take on that responsibility so you don't have to. So really focus on.
I think out of all
the
agents that have, over the months, all the agents that have shared attorney wins and, successes and issues with us, I think one common denominator is getting in front of them personally is the most effective way. I don't know that we've ever had anybody be wildly successful with the mail campaign to the attorneys, because
no.
I think it ends up, with the gatekeeper, and it ends up in the trash more often than not. And we're not telling you not to mail to them, but go down that attorney column, identify the players, the ones that are doing 2, 3, 4 deals a month, and go out and get in front of them. Stop by the office, drop off a brochure, do what you can, and bring Secretary Donuts. Chad said sometimes that could be effective, but do what you can to get in front of them for 5 minutes. That seems to be the most effective approach.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you participating. Phone number ending in 6207. You're up next.
Hi, everyone. How you guys doing today?
Wonderful. Thanks for participating.
Very good. I have a quick question for me. I'm getting my real estate license on August 11th, hopefully, fingers crossed. But in the meantime, as a real estate investor, is there anything I can do to position myself to hit the ground running from you guys, all leads? Is there anything you could tell me right now to position myself after the test is over and I get my license, I can jump in with you guys and do the things that you're doing to be successful?
Are you a subscriber right now?
I am, Jim. This is Sherry. I call you all the time. Yes, I am. I'm a subscriber right now, but I feel as if you guys mostly talk from the agent standpoint. So I figure that that's a step that goes to be an agent. But as an investor, I just want to know: is there anything I should be doing now, or I could be doing with all these to be able to get to generate funds and so on to be successful?
Yeah, you should be mailing and making phone calls no differently than you will be 2-3 weeks from now.
Okay.
If you uncover a listing opportunity, you can be careful not to do anything that requires a license, but refer that to your broker. You have a sponsored broker already, right?
Correct. Exactly.
Okay. And if you were willing to put money,
mm-hmm.
if you put money on his desk, will he take it?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh yes.
So just be careful you don't cross that line until you get your license.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call yourself a licensee. Don't talk about just be careful with your agency relationship, but you should go ahead and send out your marketing. And, the idea of what we teach is you're not necessarily identifying as a realtor or an investor. You're identifying as, maybe a real estate specialist or a probate specialist or a certified probate,
mm-hmm.
Expert, however you want to label yourself, whatever works best for you. But try not to paint yourself in that corner and slap a label on yourself. So you can go market now, just like you will be in August. The things
mm-hmm.
the deals that require a license, just hand those to your broker for now.
Understandable. Okay, I got you. Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you as always for participating. Phone number ending in 0883. You're up next.
Hey Jim, how are you today?
Wonderful. I recognize that voice. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Just 2 quick questions. I'm working hard on it now. Be ready to get rolling here in a week or so. But remember 2 weeks ago I was listening, and I kind of got the impression that we didn't want to always just put ourselves out there as a real estate agent, but that we wanted to put ourselves out there as a probate specialist. When you're kind of naming your own name for what you're doing, do you call yourself a real estate company, or do you call yourself something else?
So what we're finding, and I'm having more and more conversations from more markets, that we're seeing competition, and we're seeing more and more investors do this. So and this is mainly just to get the conversation started, so you don't get the perception of the last realtor or the last investor they had an experience with. Try to come at it as a different angle. So think of yourself as and that's what the letter in the beginning of this call I talked about, the social enterprise letter. You're kind of the hub in the process, right? So right. You can deal with conventional real estate. You can bring cash offers. You can help get homes cleaned out. You can help people reinvest after the estate's settled and distributed. So you're kind of a hub in the community for people going through this process. You're a transition expert. You're a probate expert. You figure out the scope of what your service is, how wide you want to go with that, and come up with that label, because it's going to be easier. It creates curiosity. And it doesn't put you in the same box as someone who may have sent them a letter, made a phone call to them, made them a lowball offer. You get more of a chance to actually speak with them, and you kind of look like, in the beginning, you appear to be kind of, like a vertically integrated third party that can do a little bit of anything, but it starts with you understanding their situation and their goals. Once you've initiated that conversation, they're engaged with you, and you start to build rapport with them, then you can say, well, listen, one of the biggest things we do is actually real estate brokerage, because 80% of the wealth is held in most people's wealth is held in real estate, but we also have cash buyers, and we buy in house. So I just want to be clear with you. You don't have to go somewhere else for real estate. That's a part of the solution. That it's one of the things we realized was necessary for us to provide the level of service we wanted to. So you don't have to go anywhere else. And you can kind of use, once you've got them engaged, then you can segue into the real estate conversation.
Right.
That really is evolving. I mean, it's just because we've been seeing more competition. If you listen to these calls from 2 years ago, we were a little more direct, and this conversation's about real estate. But as we try things and see good results, our teaching evolves too, and that's what seems to be working the best to really get people engaged.
What are some names that people are using now, as far as that they have on their letterheads? Is it like Forsyth Probate Specialist, or Forsyth Real Estate Probate Specialist? What would you suggest?
Oh, man. Steve Keller, if you're on the call, step up. So Steve and I have been having this conversation. He's not a licensee or an investor, but he's partnered with an investor, an investor broker. And Steve has done a really good job of this. If I just looked at his site yesterday, I can't remember what phrase he's using, but he's done a really good job with it. If you find Steve Keller in our Facebook group,
okay.
He has done a really good job of creating kind of that almost a brand out of it. So you can think about it as you're in Memphis, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so it could be Memphis Probate Pros, Memphis Probate Experts, Memphis Transition Team.
How about I shoot you an email after this, Chad, and then you put all those back to me. Would that work?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
Okay, all right. Because I can't write that fast. I'm an old guy.
And Chad talks slow. Are you kidding? You couldn't write as fast as I talk.
Oh, well, Chad's about 30 years younger than me, though, Jim.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy. Go ahead.
One more quick question.
Sure.
I am starting to build a team, and of course we got contractors. Not going to be looking at them for any money, But what about the people that you bring on board, for instance, a clean out? Do you do everything just because you're helping them to get the real estate, or do you make referral fees with other people like estate sale companies or clean out companies, that type of thing?
It's your call. Like for me, it's just no different than any other part of my professional network. So for me, it was about providing value to their business so they would reciprocate.
Right.
And I never tried to nickel and dime and try to get affiliate commissions or anything like that. For me, it was like, you know what? I'm always going to do what I promise, and you're going to get these referrals, and I expect the same from my partners. There have been people who they do pay. I mean, we've had people who I've heard of folks paying paying probate attorneys real estate referral. You pay 25% to get the referral, and as a broker, they can legally receive real estate commissions.
Right.
People, you might get to a point where you have a good enough relationship with your vendors that a co-marketing agreement where they come in and split the cost of your leads with you, or they pay for your leads for you. And, an estate sale company may say, all right, well, let's share the list. I'll send the letter, you send the letter, and we'll pay for it. So you can kind of earn your way into that. I wouldn't try to open the door saying I'm looking for a referral partner to pay for to pay me for stuff.
Right.
But once you find somebody that you work well with, I think you can grow the relationship into that. Be like, hey, I think we can do more. Why don't you you ante up and we'll try this. And
right.
you can.
What about? I know that you're going to need more than one contractor because you're going to have different things: painters, electricians, framers, whatever. But what about would you just refer people to one estate company, one auction company? Would you have listed as part of your team 2 or 3 of each of the companies? How do you
I may have multiples, but I'm going to know which one's the best fit, and I think that's really my job is knowing my my tradesmen or my vendors. So I don't believe in that. Here's 3 names, call one of them. I just don't believe in that. So I try to understand the situation and then look and see who in my network best fits and can give them the best price or the most help or get it done the fastest, whatever. And then I have that person call them, because if you leave, oftentimes, I'm sure you've met someone in your life that's procrastinated, especially in real estate. Like oftentimes you put 3 names on the desk, they're already overwhelmed. You gave them 3 more people to interview. What are they going to do? Chances are they're going to do nothing. But if you say, listen, I've got a great guy, I can't wait for you guys to meet. He's really good with antiques. I know he's going to know exactly what this Victrola is worth. Is 2 o'clock tomorrow work? Like I'll get you on his calendar. And just set the appointment for that person. And when you call your vendor, say, listen, I need you to be free at 2 tomorrow to go over and look at this, this house full of antiques. And if your vendors aren't flexible enough to do that, then you need to see how far out you need to put those appointments or go find new vendors that will work with you. But that's how I always handled it. Rather than saying, here's a list of people, call who you want, I had them call my seller so we stayed on track.
Okay, well, I was looking yesterday at local estate companies, and there must be 50 of them. So would you, and without knowing that much about anybody, would you say pick the one that's got the biggest estates or the largest quantity and list them as your teamer, or would you go talk to a few and get a feel for them?
I would talk to a few. So if you can judge, if you can see their sale publications, I would maybe look at a high end, a middle grade, and then one that's just selling an absolute dump, because you might need all 3. The problem with only calling the luxury estate company is they're not going to want to help you if you've got an $80,000 house that's full of stuff. But the lower end company is probably going to be connected with Habitat and Salvation Army and the local churches, and even if they can't sell stuff, they'll help you get it donated. So there's a lot of value, and it's no different than real estate. I mean, some people won't list a $30,000 house, but it needs to be done, right?
Right.
So I would encourage you to try to spread that across the spectrum And same thing with contractors. Like I have a contractor that I use for punch work. I wouldn't have him do a $50,000 renovation, and I wouldn't have my $50,000 and up renovation guy come do $500 worth of punch work for me, because it just doesn't fit their business. So, you may want to have different levels of estate sale companies. And I have, like, with estate sale companies, I have everything from like a flea market guy that will clean out a house just to keep the junk, all the way up to like custom antique dealers that can come in when I know I have like antique handmade furniture. I know a guy that can like he knows what that stuff's worth. So just kind of look at it like that when you're talking with them. And a lot of times you can use their.
If I may, I was going to say Barb Bloomer, if you're on the call, I'd love to have her take. She's got an estate sale company that she's working with extremely well, and they're actually doing her mailings for her, and they have a joint publication they're sending out together. One thing we've talked about before, Jim, with the estate sale companies, if you're giving them business, you should absolutely expect a reciprocal relationship. We actually, we've always had only realtors and investors as clients. Lately, we've had several estate sale companies that are buying our leads. This is lucrative for them. The better estate sale companies may take 30% of the proceeds, and the average estate is worth about $10,000, so they make as much as a realtor. And often it's the biggest choke point for the homeowners is what to do with all this stuff. So often, not always all the time, but often the homeowners will call the estate sale company before they'll call a realtor. So they can, they may be the first point of contact on a lot of deals. So just, number one, make it real clear that I'm going to be sending you business and I expect you to send me some too. And, if you do that and it's a fair reciprocal relationship, you don't have to collect any referral fees or anything. Just make it a fair exchange of leads.
Okay, well, back to I have one home inspector, for instance, that I use as often as I can. Mm-hmm. And the way that I approach that is I will tell the people, now, you have the option of whomever you want to use, but here's the guy I trust. And I'll leave it up to them. So you can do basically, once I get to where I know the estate people, the auction people, the clean-out people, whomever, then you're going to get people to use. The other question, real quickly, I've got two guys that are firemen that do work for me, but they're not licensed and bonded. Would you ever use them for this type work? Some of the smaller stuff, like that $80,000 house.
Just to get them cleaned out?
Well, no, maybe to do some small work. Sheetrock repair, floor cleaning, whatever it might be. Just not a major $80,000 remodel, but someone come in and do some minor work. Not knowing I wouldn't in Roanoke. I wouldn't here because you would knowingly be breaking at least two laws. I probably wouldn't do that. And if it was clean-out work, yes. If it's contract work that requires pulling permits and having a license, then this would be where it would not require pulling a permit. Okay. Well, that's why I said here, because here, if a job requires a hammer, you better have a permit or not get caught. If you have the risk of smashing a finger, then you have to have a building permit, which is I'll withhold my opinion, but. So you just got to look at what your local laws and culture is and make that call. But just remember, the liability is not yours; it's your client's. If you're, if something goes wrong, it doesn't hurt you a bit. But if they have an unlicensed, uninsured contractor, and it would be ironic if two firemen burnt the house down. But if they were sweating a pipe and caught a house on fire and didn't have any of that insurance, then how's that? What position have you left your client in? Right.
And there's nothing to say that they couldn't. They couldn't. If anybody gets sued, they'll sue everybody. And if you made the recommendation, you just don't want to be in that situation.
Gotcha. Thanks a lot, guys.
It's not hard to get a Class C contractor license.
Yep. Okay. Two more people in the queue. Thanks for participating, Jim. We really appreciate it. Next up is phone number ending in 7546. You're up next.
I think I'm your newest newbie.
Hey,
this
welcome.
is Barb Bloomer from Kentucky, and I do have an accent, so just pardon me. Okay, so I am at the stage of, as you mentioned, I've got my team we're working on adding more people, but I am teamed with Everything But the House. They're nationwide, but they're new here in the Lexington area. She's very excited, and she thinks this is going to work great. So I have the estate company. I have a title attorney who's on call who can answer questions. I'm working with getting a mortgage company, and I also have a home inspector guy that I can use. Now, the contractor part I can get easy enough. My question is the letters. I guess I'm getting my leads today, and I want to somehow put all the people I've got on my team in this letter, but I don't want to make it too jumbled. But I want these people to know what value we offer because I do have such a great team. How do I customize the letter through you all? Do we write our own? What would you all suggest?
Either or. If you look at the letters we have and you don't feel like it's good enough, then craft your own. Use ours for inspiration.
Okay, and what I was going to do, I was going to lick and stick myself, but I've got 50 leads coming. So that's more than I expected, and I want to do it right the first time out. So I guess I will probably use your all's direct mail service. That might be the best thing.
It will save you money.
Yes, and my estate sales company, they're willing to, I think, help with the cost on that, so that would be great.
Barbara, I found it very interesting that you're a estate sale company, and that's a good name to know if you don't have one. If they're a national company, Everything But the House, it's a clever name. We don't know them. We're not recommending them, but Barb's impressed with them. But they actually reached out to you and recruited you as their realtor. So what does that say about?
She actually took me out to lunch a couple of months ago with none of this was on board. And then I called her up 3 days ago and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing a new lead thing. Would you like to help me?" And she was just tickled to death. So this is a totally different question. The certification, our local board has never, and this is good, has never even heard of this certification, which is, I think, good. I don't think anybody here is doing it yet. So should I get the certification? Do I need it? I mean, I'm not a probate specialist, so I can't sell myself as that, but I've been in the business for over 10 years. I've sold all kinds of property. So how should I market myself, and what about the certification?
Well, certification, and I designed the course and I teach it, and it's far less important. It's far less important than the course content, in my opinion.
Right.
So,
exactly.
What you learn in probate mastery will make you more professional, make you more money. I'll be surprised if those 3 letters ever do either of those things for you.
Right.
It's something that there was a demand for, so we back it up as kind of, I like to think that we're kind of the authority in doing this in the brokerage community. I have met with NAR. Big wheels turn slow, and they have a lot of hands out, if you know what I mean. Right. So it is not endorsed by the NAR because honestly, I don't know that there's enough value there for any of us to go through that. So I'll say it's one of the best, most specific probate education systems in the country.
Okay.
And it's over 7 hours of content, and we teach you everything that we know, and it's constantly evolving. So it's not really as much about the designation as it is about the end result of you being more confident.
How to market. I think if we didn't have the name Everything But the House, I'd say Everything and the House, because we can not only sell what they have in the house, I can also sell the house.
Well, I was going to suggest that they change their business name to Everything But the House ... sometimes, unless Barbara's involved.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, so I guess I'm a listing agent. I am a listing agent every day. So you know what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to stand out, but at the same time I don't want to, I guess just say real estate specialist, whatever. I'm not sure how to.
So it's you can call yourself a probate specialist. Like if you've if you've gone through our fast track training and paid attention.
I already did. Yeah, I did.
You know more than 90% of agents out there.
Okay.
It's not a really well taught or well known niche. So if you've listened to these calls and been engaged with our content, you probably know more than any of your peers. So don't shy away from that. And I would even say pick a title you'll grow into.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to say I understand this space and I'm committed to it. I'm a probate specialist.
Right.
Well, she's already part of a team. That's the good news, is that you're already building this with.
Right, and I'm very excited because I don't think Lexington is huge, and we have a very active market right now. But nobody's talking about this, and I'm not talking about it. I'm not telling my realtor buddies about this because I really do want to. I want to take off with this. So, yeah, I'm very excited about it, and I'll work it hard. So I've got a lot to learn, but I'm watching the webinars off and on all day. So. Trying to learn as much as I can.
Listen, this is Tim, and I wanted to let you know I grew up in Lexington, and I hope you do very, very well there.
Oh,
that's where I grew up.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, small world. I love it here. I sell horse farms here. I I've been here over 25 years. So yeah, I love it.
Great.
Yeah, so I really appreciate you all. You've been a lot of help, and I'm learning a lot already. And I'll probably be bugging you to death, Chad, but you'll be hearing from me.
No worries.
Anytime. Okay. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you.
All right, take care. 3 more people in the queue. Great participation today, guys. Thank you. Phone number ending in 5672. You're up next.
Hi, this is Matt Holiday. I'm out of South Carolina.
Hey, Matt.
And I'm brand new. So we're a real estate auction company. We started in the business in 2000. We used to send out letters to personal representatives for probate. And I can think of 3 occasions we sent out letters, and we booked 3 auction events, which consisted of personal property and the real estate. So I'm a licensed broker, licensed real estate agent, and our company's kind of evolved into we just specialize in selling real estate at auction, and if it's local, so we sell all over the state in Georgia, but if it's local, we will list. In the beginning of our company, we sold everything and had a number of agents on staff that were also personal property auctioneers. They have their own auction houses and all that. It evolved into we just let them book the personal property auctions and the estate tag sale auction or estate tag sales on their own, independent of our company, for a lot of liability issues. So we have moved away from, as a company, touching personal property, equipment, or anything like that. And then we started doing a lot of bank business. Now we're back. We're back looking at probate again. That's why we're part of this program. And the thing we don't have is the ability to sell personal property in-house like we do, but we still have the affiliates. We still have the agents that have the know-how. And we are also affiliated with an auction house and some estate sale companies, which the estate sale companies are taking off in our area. And sometimes they're the first person, somebody mentioned this earlier, sometimes they're the first person someone contacts. So our challenge is this, maybe giving me some help, just how we brand ourselves, because as a real estate agent, some people don't like real estate agents. Some people don't like auctioneers, or they think, I'm not going to give my stuff away at an auction. And the estate sale, tag sales are kind of a new thing, and they seem to be getting calls first. If we just offer our services for real estate, sometimes we're not first in line of connecting with these folks. So we really want to brand ourselves as a one-stop shop. If they want to sell their property, we can either sell it by listing it traditionally or bringing it to auction live or on online or both. And then we can solve their problems with the personal property and clean out. The difference is and you guys have been talking about this, we're going to start, obviously we're going to be more active in referring the property out. I've already learned a ton from this call. My concern is how we present ourselves to people, because we have options. We can present ourselves as real estate brokers or auctioneers. The dilemma is once we say auction or we're a regular real estate company, we may lose some people. So we really want to be able to say, hey, we can solve your challenge in this transition and offer multiple services. But the only in-house service that we're going to offer is the traditional listing and the auction. So
that's okay. And most of the people, thanks for being thorough. most of the folks on this call are investors, estate sale companies, agents, brokers, title companies, and what we try to teach is, to really differentiate yourself and be the first phone call is to present a wide scope of service. So I think no matter what you label yourself, from what you said, you can back it up, right? You know a guy. So I think you've got to look at the scope of who you want to help. So maybe it's people in the end of life, maybe not even after a death. If you want to be a resource to be the South Carolina transition expert. If you just want to focus on the probate scenario, then you can be the South Carolina probate expert. There's different, you can use the word transition, use the word probate, specialist, different things like that. Just play around with some of those, and like Jim said, I'll just take the word Memphis and all those keywords and kind of throw them together, and something's going to resonate with you. But I think regardless of how you title yourself, you can back it up. But you're right. If you just say I'm an auctioneer or I'm a realtor, you might not ever have the opportunity to have the conversation, because they slap that label on you, and you get the reputation of the last one of those that they met, whatever that title is. So if you can appear as kind of a third party that is, that has assembled a team. And one of the things I mentioned Steve Keller on the call, so where we kind of worked his model is he is actually presenting himself just as a third-party service provider that gets compensated by the vendors. And he's partnered, like I said, with a broker/investor. So they don't have to know the details of that compensation. But where Steve will make his money will be from real estate commissions and acquisitions on flips and things like that, the spread that they make. So he's, 100% of his income comes from the real estate side. The rest of it is just value add in order to start those real estate conversations. But so you don't have to offer specifics, but the way he positioned it was as a true vertically integrated third-party service that's paid by the people that he brings to the table to support the entire estate situation. So you might think about, presenting yourself in that same way.
That last sentence about a vertical, blah blah blah. If you can go ahead and put that in writing for me, that would be valuable. that was great. That was really great. Well, I've learned a lot so far on the call.
First, you'll have to remember what he said.
No, I'm. You know what? I can go back and listen to it, right?
Right. Sure.
Now, I had 10 questions, but you all have answered them throughout the call. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Great.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you. We have two more people in the queue. Phone number ending in 1270. You're up next.
Hey guys, this is Eitan from Palm Beach County, Florida. How you guys doing today?
Great, Eitan. How are you?
Good. Jim, I just want to let you know I've been working with Pam on one thing, and she's been fantastic. So I just wanted to start off and let you know about that. So.
Thank you. That's my wife, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good. So thank you for the kind words.
Absolutely. So we have somebody who's been making calls on our first couple lists that we've received so far, and pretty much a lot of the feedback that we've been getting has been that you're the 15th person who's called us, and then click. A lot of angry people who are upset that we've been calling, and I think it doesn't have to do with the fact that we're calling on an estate or a probate, but just the fact that these people are getting bombarded with calls. So how do we work it so that we're not calling people, that we're not the 15th caller, that we're the first caller? I mean, is there any way to maybe change it so that we get the leads twice per month instead of once a month? And then how do we overcome those objections?
First of all, Eitan, you are in a hyper-competitive market. Anywhere USA, that, I think probably 2/3 of the people on this call would say they're the only agent calling them. That's definitely not the case in South Florida. So you're in a hyper-competitive market. It's funny, we talked about this quite a bit on the last call, but Chad, do you want to kind of summarize your suggestions for Eitan?
Well, I think on the last call we encouraged Marcus to be a little more disruptive on the phone, and you've got to. So, are you getting shut down? Tell me how you open your call. or how your ISA is trying to open the call.
Yeah. So what they're doing is they going based on the script that you guys created. They introduce themselves, and then they give the USP. And it's my understanding that people are saying, you're the 15th person who's called me. Or they say that the house has already been sold and we already have an exclusive listing agreement.
Yeah. So what we suggest, it's tough with an ISA. I've worked with some, and having flexible scripts is sometimes a challenge. Like, kind of gauging the tone of the conversation and knowing where to use humor or where to be disruptive or a little more aggressive. You can try to think of ways that you can start the conversation. You might start by backing off of the real estate part of it, so you sound different than the other. The key here is differentiation. Just getting the conversation to get past that first big hurdle. So think about the conversation, the last conversation we just had. How much different would it be if they didn't know you even had a real estate license or any interest in the real estate? If they just, if you were calling and they actually felt and understood that you were calling just to offer them free advice on the entire estate, and then you can segue into the real estate conversation. So, hi, this is South Florida Probate Experts. I'm just touching base. We're proactive. We try to reach out to each executor each month, and I noticed you were the executor. Would you have 5 minutes to talk to our CEO about how we might be able to help you through this situation? And that's a pretty sloppy script. If you want to work on it together, I'll help you with that. But okay. I would try to back off the real estate conversation, because it's probably where you're getting shut down. If they're getting 15 calls, they're probably one-sided offers just about real estate. So let's broaden the scope of your offer so you stand out and can actually start the conversation. Because like I said, if you whenever you identify as real estate expert, real estate this, real estate that, you're gaining the reputation of the last guy they hung up on. And we need to get you away from that and get you over into a separate conversation. And if you want to work on that language and script, I can help you and even your ISA if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. I can actually send you what I have so far, and we can, kind of go from there. I will say that the lady who is making the calls, she's called a lot on probate for other people in the past. She's U.S.-based, so it isn't like, somebody who doesn't understand, how Americans talk and everything. So I think she's very good. But I think, she's just been running into those obstacles. So I'll definitely be in touch via email. We'll go from there.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And also, if you want to look into biweekly delivery, just send an email to support at all the leads. In some counties we can do that. We just need to look at what the additional cost would be, and we'll get back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Eitan. Last person in the queue this week is phone number ending in 3908. It looks like you're last.
Hey, guys. It's Sam from Richmond, Virginia. How are you?
Wonderful,
Good.
Sam.
How are you, Sam?
Good. Basically, I just wanted to, first off, I don't like the jabs at ISAs that you guys have been giving, because I am an ISA.
That's what you do, Sam. Yeah,
exactly.
You're one of the great ones, though. You're extraordinary.
Oh, thanks. Just as an update, I just ran some numbers for the halfway point of the year. We've been doing this since November, and we've gotten right at $1 million in listings through probate exclusively. So this program does work for sure. And we just added a fourth county, which is awesome. We're super excited to keep going with this. Couple of things. We've been talking a lot on this call, or you guys have been talking a lot on this call about building your team. I started out with just a basic, I work for my broker, so he's got some stuff, but really the probate aspect and these leads are my specialty. So I started out with just some basic stuff and added team members as I needed them. So now I've got an estate sale company, I've got a junk company, and I've got a charity that we work with that'll pick up donations for free. I've got 2 lawyers. I've got, I've just added as I needed it. So I would say to anybody who's getting hung up on building your team, just go ahead and do it, and then add people as you need them. Don't let not having a team or not having everybody stop you from finding out how you can help. The second thing about the letters, in terms of differentiating, the first letter I send out is the options letter, is my version of that, and it's like, eventually I want to talk to you about real estate, but really here's what I want to talk to you about now. Here's how I can help you, and I talk about clean out and, repairs and financial planning and all of that in the initial letter. And then when I call, I don't identify real estate at all. I'm talking about, I'm a probate specialist. I have a team of people who can help you. What do you need help with? And that really differentiates yourself. I just talked to a lady a couple of days ago who said she got 15 letters, and the reason she remembered me in my letter is because I was offering to help with everything and not just wanting to buy the house. So it's really important to talk about, identify yourself as a probate specialist who will you're here for everything. You're not just here for the real estate, because that's what everybody else is doing, and they're just not going to listen to you if you're like that. So that's my 2 cents. And
wonderful. That was at least $2. I think it was.
So I'm going to challenge. I know it's your
$2 million.
title, but I know it's your title, Sam. But I'm going to challenge you. You're a lot more than an ISA. You go above and beyond in doing this. Like you've done this at a level that very few have. So thank you so much for sharing what's working for you guys, and we didn't mean to offend you on your job title.
No, it's okay. It was just playing. I'm just playing back with you guys. I know. I know that most ISAs won't go to the level that I will, and especially if you're just hiring somebody to make calls for you.
No.
Then of course
I thought they would in the beginning when I tried to train a few people's ISAs. I thought they're all going to be like Sam. No, it didn't work that way.
Well, yeah, it's been a learning process, but like I said, it's a matter of just going out and doing it for the last 8 months, 9 months.
What's so exciting, Sam? If you can get those kind of results in the first 6 months, you're getting better at this. This is going to be, I could see this being the core element of your business if it's not already. That's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
This is all that I focus on. So it's definitely been a big percentage of our business. We're doing this, and we're really hitting referrals hard, which I think is great. When you tie in, that's another aspect of doing probate. Once you help the personal representative to the extent that we help them, and I build this phenomenal relationship with people. When 5-10 years from now, when they want to sell their house, or even a couple years from now, when they want to sell their house, who are they going to think about? They're going to think about me because I was here helping them through one of the most difficult times of their life. And so, the referrals come later and all of that. It just builds on itself. So it's definitely worthwhile.
Excellent. Well, from now on, we're just going to end every call with Sam. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys, really.
We ended on a high note, guys. Great call, as always. I really want to thank everybody who showed up today. You took an hour of your lives. You showed up. You participated. Thank everybody who participated, especially you, Sam, and everybody really who stepped up and asked questions. I always like to close these calls by challenging you. You did take the time to be here today, guys and girls. Take one idea, one thought, one thing that you heard on this call that inspired you. Go out and put it into action and come back next Thursday and share it with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week. We'll talk to you same time next Thursday. Take care.